also the last place we need anybody camping out. It is best to just get them over with. If you find yourself camping on or near, make your way up or down and keep them clear, okay? Now, downstairs, we have a small concession stand that should be open about now. It's just stuff to get you by, so if you should need, we do serve beer and wine. That is for the return trip only. The big announcement: there are no restrooms, trash cans, or recycle bins out at Fort Sumter. We have all on board. Restrooms are going to be located downstairs towards the rear of that inside deck. Downstairs towards the rear of that inside deck. Now, if you're looking at
That feels better.
on the right hand side will be the men's restrooms, left hand will be the women's restrooms. Okay? As far as the restrooms, a couple of things. One, under no circumstances is anything other than the toilet paper provided need to go down the toilets, please. Thank you. Two, when you're done washing your hands, if everyone could just be conscious of making sure that the faucet gets turned off behind you. They cannot shut off automatically. All it would take is one person to forget or frankly not care. The boat can run out of water. That's just nasty. Nobody wants that. We're going to be blowing the air horn as we approach the bow. It's just to communicate and let other people know that we are coming around a blind spot and entering the waters. So I'm going to do a quick pause. So that two lights in here. Okay. Regular trash cans and blue recycle bins are on both decks. Please use these responsibly. Nothing needs to go overboard today, folks. Also, watch your hats. It tends to get a little breezy. We're expecting a north wind for 5 to 10 to 15 knots. That can get a little breezy. This won't be the last time you hear this announcement about the restrooms and the trash cans. What we tell you now, so you can best utilize your time in the boat, so you can best utilize your power afterwards. As long as elements permit, we're going to stay tied up with the gangway out for that full hour. Please keep in mind, it is roughly a 3-minute walk from the door of the fort back to gangway attached to the boat. And the only time that we'll take the gangway off is if we're getting waked hard enough, or we have to get underway for any specific reason, whether it's training or because the wake is too big to stay tied up to a fixed stop, okay? Last but not least, much like Fort Sumter, there's no smoking on board this vessel. This is for the convenience of all our guests as well. Guests, then please wait until you get back to Patriots Point, where you are on natural land. This will include cigarettes, e-cigarettes, vape, pipe stands, whatever you can think of. Please don't smoke. I want to say thank you for your attention. Thank you for joining us today. We hope you enjoy your cruise out to Fort Sumter, and I'm going to pass the mic off to a volunteer.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome aboard the Palmetto Spirit for our trip out to Fort Sumter National Historical Park today. My name is Ron. I'm a National Park Service volunteer. There's about 300,000 National Park Service volunteers scattered over the 433 National Park Service sites in the United States. Your national parks, and I do mean your national parks, cover about 85 million acres in the U.S. And ever since COVID, we've set some attendance records. Certainly set one last year. Looking forward to doing it again this year. So we're glad to see you all going out to Fort Sumter with us today. Our trip out to Fort Sumter is going to take about 30 minutes. We will spend 1 hour in the fort, and it'll be a 30-minute trip back. Now, you heard the captain. Things can get a little rocky now and then, so when you get up and move around, please make sure you use all the caution you can muster. Use the poles, patches, handrails, whatever you need to steady yourself. Good rule of thumb on a moving vessel is the slower you move, the safer it is. However you do it, guys, please be careful. Now, as we swung around here, it's aft of the boat now. That big old bridge back there is the Arthur G. Ravenel Jr. Bridge. That bridge connects the peninsula of the city of Charleston to the town of Mount Pleasant. Construction on that bridge was completed back in 2005. Now, of course, when you build a bridge like that, that's a government project, and that certainly was a government project. In fact, it was one of the most unique government projects I've ever heard of because it was finished under budget and ahead of schedule. Now over here to the starboard side, the right-hand side of the boat, you can see a blue and green-colored vessel at anchor over there. That ship is called a Ro-Ro, and it's spelled R-O-R-O, and that stands for roll on and roll off. And what they're doing there today is they're probably loading somewhere between 4,000 and 5,000 brand new automobiles on that ship. That ship will go to Europe. Those automobiles will be distributed all over the continent there, North Africa, Middle East. The largest assembly plant in the world is located about 125 miles north of Charleston. And there's also a Volvo assembly plant north of the city. Now you heard the captain. Remember, Fort Sumter is a pack-it-in, pack-it-out park, which means there's no trash cans or trash receptacles. So please, please remember that you're going to have to dispose of all your trash, that stuff, plastic water bottles, candy wrappers, whatever. Make sure you leave them here on the boat or stick them in your pocket or whatever. There are no trash cans at Fort Sumter. And also, please, please take the captain's good advice. There are no restrooms at Fort Sumter. Now, the walk from the fort to the boat where the anchor is about 100 yards or more than 100 yards. And I got to tell you, folks, in time of need, that's a really, really long walk. So, and please, please plan ahead with the restroom breaks. As we swing around here and start heading towards Fort Sumter, to the right-hand side, the starboard side of the boat, you're going to see a sandbar, a long sandbar, and at the end of that sandbar, there's going to be a building. The sandbar is called Chutes Folly, and the building at the end is Castle Pinckney. It's actually a fort that was built there, named after Charles Cotesworth Pinckney, who was a Revolutionary War hero and a signer of the Constitution. The first fort that was built on Chutes Folly was built back in the 1700s. Lasted about 3 years, was made out of wood. Hurricane blew it away. So then around the year 1800, they came in and built another wooden fort. It also got blown away. So then in 1809, the federal government came in and built that circular brick fort. It's a small fort. It was during the Civil War, the Confederate forces housed some Union prisoners from the Battle of Manassas, the first Battle of Bull Run. They housed them there for several weeks, but it was very unwieldy, and they ultimately moved the prisoners over to the city jail in Charleston. The forts really had little or no military or strategic value, sitting here right in the middle of Charleston Harbor. Following the Civil War, the federal government didn't know what to do with Chutes Folly or Castle Pinckney. They tried selling it. They talked to everyone that would listen to them, some local people, state people, even private enterprise. Nobody wanted to buy Chutes Folly or Castle Pinckney until just a few years ago. The local chapter of the Sons of Confederate Veterans expressed an interest in acquiring the property. So, the federal government sent a crack negotiating team down here in Charleston to negotiate with those fellas. And they ultimately agreed upon a selling price of 10 Confederate dollars. Fort Sumter right now. That's where the first shots of the Civil War were fired back on April 12th, 1861. That was the start of the Civil War. Most historians agree on that, although some historians look at the reasons for the Civil War going all the way back to 1794. That was the year that the cotton gin was invented by Eli Whitney. Prior to the invention of the cotton gin, the southern plantation owners down here were growing a short fiber, short staple cotton. It was very difficult to grow, and it was a very labor-intensive product. The cloth that was produced